Chapter 506, The Mechanical Catastrophe Race, Countless Warships. In the 34th Hengmeng era of this simulation, another major event occurred in the All Heavens and Myriad Realms. The Supreme Origin System clan made a move against a top first-rate race in the All Heavens and Myriad Realms, the Undead Skeleton Race. The Undead Skeleton Race is a top first-rate race in the All Heavens and Myriad Realms, possessing over 50,000 beings at the Hengmeng Dao Ancestor realm, and tens of thousands of skeletons inferior to the Hengmeng Dao Ancestor realm, holding a very high status in the All Heavens and Myriad Realms. The characteristic of this race is their sheer numbers. They can create a large number of skeleton legions, producing an effect similar to an undead catastrophe. A strong individual of the undead skeleton, race at the Chaos Great Dao Controller realm, can create hundreds of skeleton legions slightly weaker than themselves. If they create those at the half-step Chaos Great Dao Controller realm, they can even create an infinite number of skeleton legions at the half-step Chaos Great Dao Controller realm. That's right, infinite. Truly infinite. As long as you give them time, they can keep creating without any consumption. This is the characteristic of this race. They excel at swarm tactics. In addition, they can collect the corpses of powerful individuals, suppress the eternal proof effect through special methods, and transform them into their subordinate skeleton legions. The transformed powerhouses are only slightly weaker than when they were alive. They are about 30–40% weaker. The reason this race suffered annihilation by the Supreme Origin System clan was because this race secretly hunted down a powerhouse at the Hengmeng Dao Ancestor realm from the Supreme Origin System clan. They also intended to research the secrets of the Supreme System clan. This undoubtedly crossed the Supreme Origin System clan's bottom line, causing them to decisively annihilate this race, even though they couldn't kill all the powerhouses of this race. But it doesn't matter if they can't kill them. It's fine as long as someone else can. Human race powerhouses can kill them. They can pay to ask human race powerhouses for help. As long as a sufficient price is paid, the human race's powerhouses at the Hengmeng Dao Ancestor realm are very willing. It's just that the price is very high. When the human race powerhouses moved to annihilate the undead skeleton race, Shichen Hengmeng Dao Ancestor, ranked 10th in human race strength and possessing 450 times the combat power of his peers, also made a move. He also took out another first-rate race. And it was a first-rate race with 40,000 Hengmeng Dao Ancestor realm individuals. The Mechanical Catastrophe Race. It is a civilization with highly advanced technology. The reputation of this race in the All Heavens and Myriad Realms is only slightly inferior to that of the human race and supreme races. This reputation is an infamous one. In the All Heavens and Myriad Realms, the Mechanical Catastrophe Race is detested by many races, and annihilating this race would not lead to ostracization by other races in the All Heavens and Myriad Realms. Because this race is just like a damned catastrophe. They are the most damned. They have made no contribution to the All Heavens and Myriad Realms throughout their rise, only consuming. The Mechanical Catastrophe is a race composed of intelligent life forms, one after another. Each intelligent life form commands countless trillions upon trillions of powerful warships. The warships of each intelligent life form, when put together, could fill dozens of chaos spacetimes. These warships require vast resources to build, and these resources are naturally plundered from the All Heavens and Myriad Realms. Every moment, the Mechanical Catastrophe races plundering resources from the All Heavens and Myriad Realms. Every second, an area the size of a chaos spacetime is completely mined by the Mechanical Catastrophe race. Wherever they go, all life vanishes. This is the Mechanical Catastrophe race. This race had previously created a powerful robot with over 40 times the combat power of its peers. Among first-rate races, it was considered quite good. Originally, with this strength, it wasn't worthy of human race's Shichen Hengmeng Dao ancestor personally making a move. However, this mechanical genius race recently developed a very impressive technology. The all-heavens spacetime origin engraving technology. This technology was engraved onto the robot they created, which possessed 40 times the Hengmeng Dao ancestor combat power of its peers, and was named Apocalypse by them. It was enough to double the combat power of this Apocalypse robot, reaching 120 times the combat power of its peers. This was a very significant breakthrough. Once successful, it was feared that the all-heavens and myriad realms would gain another supreme race. Although 120 times combat power still had a certain gap compared to the strongest individuals of the other 7 supreme races in the all-heavens and myriad realms, where the weakest among them possessed 170 times the combat power of their peers. However, 120 times and 170 times, while different in combat power, represented the same significance. The most crucial point is that products created by technological civilizations can actually be mass-produced. As long as the technology is overcome and there are certain resources, mass production can begin directly. Although, reaching this level makes mass production extremely difficult. However, creating 10 or 8 robots similar to the Apocalypse robot is still not a problem. By then, the mechanical catastrophe race, possessing 10 robots with 120 times the Hengmeng Dao ancestor combat power of their peers, would pose an even greater threat to the human race than other supreme races. Their combat power would likely rank them as the second strongest race in the all-heavens and myriad realms. Therefore, this race must be destroyed. In addition, the all-heavens spacetime origin engraving technology must be brought back to the human race. This technology, if left with the mechanical catastrophe race, would truly be a disaster. A disaster for the all-heavens and myriad realms. With this technology, the mechanical catastrophe race would fear no one in the human race. At that time, no one in the all-heavens and myriad realms would be able to suppress them, and the mechanical catastrophe race would become utterly lawless. At that point, everyone in the entire all-heavens and myriad realms would suffer. Therefore, it is better for this technology to be in the hands of the human race, because all other races in the all-heavens and myriad realms are already suffering. Having this technology or not makes no difference to them. If they have it, they won't suffer more, and their lives won't get worse. How much worse can it get than now? There's certainly some truth to that statement. Considering the actions of the mechanical catastrophe race, if they truly rose to power, everyone else in the all-heavens and myriad realms would indeed suffer. But if it fell into the hands of the human race would at most become a little stronger in combat, but their oppression of others wouldn't increase. He was the one who most hoped for the birth of a Hengmeng Dao ancestor realm existence within his own race, with 60 times the strength of the same level. Because there was too little sense of security within the all-heavens and myriad realms. At any time and place, they could be wiped out by the human race for the slightest reason. Only the emergence of a powerhouse of this level would offer the possibility of a desperate, mutual destruction with the human race. Only then would the human race experts refrain from exterminating them. It was just like mutual nuclear deterrence. Although the human race might possess millions of nuclear bombs and many, many hydrogen bombs, other nations only needed a single nuclear bomb. Just one nuclear bomb capable of wiping out all the leaders of that nation would suffice. The all-heavens and myriad realms, the top-tier first-rate race, the Chaos Golden-Winged Great Peng Clan. The strongest of the Chaos Golden-Winged Great Peng Clan, the Golden-Winged Hengmeng Dao ancestor, was also sensing his clan's fate line. However, unlike the Angel clan, the Golden-Winged Hengmeng Dao ancestor sensed his clan's fate line, not because he wanted to see what opportunity his clan was about to receive. He simply wanted to see whether this thing truly was an opportunity. Whether it was an opportunity belonging only to their chaos, golden-winged Great Peng clan, or an opportunity belonging to all races in the all heavens and myriad realms. If it were the former, it would be fine. By obtaining this opportunity, their clan might have a chance to become a supreme race in the future. But if it were the latter, then it was feared that before long, a transcendence opportunity would appear in the all heavens and myriad realms. Furthermore, it would be a transcendence opportunity capable of increasing the strength of all races in the all heavens and myriad realms several times over, benefiting everyone. Such a situation would definitely change the landscape of the all heavens and myriad realms. For instance, if the other supreme races in the all heavens and myriad realms could also increase their strength several times over. For instance, if the human race could not increase its strength several times over, then the landscape of the all heavens and myriad realms would undergo the greatest change. The human race would no longer be able to remain aloof and superior. They would no longer be able to kill whomever they pleased. The all heavens and myriad realms would shift from the previous state of one superpower, and many strong ones back to 8 major powers dividing the entire all heavens and myriad realms. Keep dreaming, with the opportunity the human race possesses. No matter how much stronger these races in the all heavens and myriad realms become, the human race will always be 3 times stronger than them. Seeing the chaos golden-winged Great Peng clan thinking about one superpower and many strong ones, or the 8 major powers dividing the all heavens and myriad realms. Chu He could only chuckle. Impossible, absolutely impossible. With that transcendence opportunity in hand, the other forces in the all heavens and myriad realms would never be able to surpass the human race in their entire lives. Unless, just as he was chuckling and declaring it impossible, Chu He suddenly thought of something. Suddenly, Chu He's expression turned sour. He wanted to slap himself again. No. Something's not right. Am I not also part of the human race in the simulation? Although I haven't joined the human race officially, my race is human, and once I reach the Hengmeng Dao ancestor realm and can reveal myself, I will definitely join the ranks of the human race. So, when the human race is joined by this old ancestor, who possesses 25,000 times the strength of a same-level Hengmeng Dao ancestor. Although the number of Hengmeng Dao ancestors in the human race hasn't increased, the strength of their top-tier powerhouses has directly increased by more than several hundred times. Then, that transcendence-level opportunity will definitely judge the human race's strength as far exceeding the other races. Far exceeding that figure of 3 times. At that time, even if these races in the all heavens and myriad realms reach the previous level of the human race, the overall strength of the human race will not increase. Because the human race's original strength would already far surpass these people. I alone can rival countless members of the human race. However, that's only if I take action. The human race only surpasses them by that much strength when I intervene. If I don't take action, the human race is still the same human race, and their strength won't change. But those supreme races won't be the same supreme races anymore. Their strength will have already changed. And at that time, will the me in the simulation take action? No, I'm afraid I'll even be preaching great love to the other races. sh*t, sh*t, sh*t. Perhaps it's because this possibility also involves an opportunity for the transcendent realm. However, none of that is important. What matters is what our human race will do, and where we will go once they are on equal footing with us. Once they stand as our equals, all the privileges we humans possess in the all heavens and myriad realms will be significantly weakened. Those supreme races we've suppressed for so long won't remain obedient either. One by one, they will turn on their masters. Hunyuan Hengmeng Dao ancestor, ranked in the top 10 of the human race's power rankings, spoke with a heavy tone. Indeed, once they are on equal footing with us, this situation is 100% guaranteed to happen. We absolutely cannot allow this to happen. How about we strike them hard now, while their strength is still weaker than ours? No, if we actually do that, I'm afraid they will also strike back hard at our human race. The all heavens and myriad realms would likely descend into a desperate struggle where both sides perish. A certain Hengmeng Dao ancestor had just spoken, but before he could say more, he refuted his own words. What if, after that opportunity descends, we directly force all races in the all heavens and myriad realms to hand over their opportunities? Before they can digest them, we take them all back into the hands of our human race. That way, this event might not be a bad thing. Instead, it would be a good thing. By obtaining so many opportunities, the strength of my human race might increase by dozens of times or more. By then, who in the all heavens and myriad realms could possibly stop us? Even if the entire all heavens and myriad realms and all the races combined, they would still be defeated. Shaishan Hengmeng Dao ancestor, ranked 26th on the human race power rankings, was a Hengmeng Dao ancestor who had become somewhat addicted to suppressing and squeezing all the races of the all heavens and myriad realms. He raised his hand and voiced his suggestion. This suggestion caused all the Hengmeng Dao ancestors present to fall into deep thought, considering the feasibility of such an action. Collecting all the opportunities in the all heavens and myriad realms to enhance the strength of their human race. This was indeed a good way to solve the problem. However, using this method presented a problem: how to deal with the various races of the all heavens and myriad realms. These were opportunities that could make one's race several or even dozens of times stronger. No one would just hand them over casually. Even if the prestige of the human race was formidable, those races would still have to weigh their options. And during that consideration, if a powerful race were to raise a call to arms, countless others would surely respond. At that point, it was likely that all races in the all heavens and myriad realms would revolt against the human race. Among them would inevitably be top-tier first-rate races. And the supreme races. The 7 supreme races would not sit idly by and watch the human race's strength increase several or dozens of times over, surpassing them so far that they would never have another chance to rise. They would certainly join the fray. At that time, it would evolve into a war involving all races of the all heavens and myriad realms. Another desperate struggle where both sides perish. This was not what the human race wanted to see. Therefore, the many Hengmeng Dao ancestors of the human race still shook their heads at this idea. What kind of existence has appeared within the all heavens and myriad realms? What kind of ancient existence could it be? To be able to cause such a massive commotion with just a casual breakthrough. This is too terrifying. For those experts in the surrounding chaos spacetime who thought they were invincible, believing that the strongest around them was only at the Tao Venerable realm, and that the strongest realm in the all heavens and myriad realms was the Tao Venerable realm. The emergence of a terrifying existence like you has overturned their understanding. It made them realize their own insignificance. It made them realize they were previously just frogs at the bottom of a well. These experts once mocked those in small worlds and minor thousand worlds, considering them frogs at the bottom of a well. Just like in the simulation before the last, your descendant Chu Chang was once swept into a minor thousand world by a spacetime turbulence, and mocked the so-called great emperor experts in that minor thousand world. How could these mockers know if they themselves were also frogs at the bottom of a well? Do these people, who think they know the all heavens and myriad realms, truly know the real all heavens and myriad realms? What they see is not the true all heavens and myriad realms. What they see is merely a single chaos spacetime. Even within this tiny chaos spacetime, those De Luo Dao Lord realm experts have not truly explored every corner. They do not even know how vast the chaos spacetime is. Those who have not even walked out of the chaos spacetime have no right to mock the frogs at the bottom of a well in those minor thousand worlds. Those struggling in the minor thousand worlds there, merely on the path these people once took to get where they are now. Which middle thousand worlds, or major thousand worlds, did not slowly emerge from small worlds and minor thousand worlds. Slowly promoted and ascended. It is just that they walked out, they succeeded, jumped out of the well and ran into a larger well. While others are still struggling in the previous well. Forget about them. Even you would not dare to truly say you have seen a single facet of the all heavens and myriad realms. Nor would you dare say that because you know of those transcendence realm experts in the all heavens and myriad realms through the simulator, you consider yourself knowledgeable. You just happen to know of a few transcendence realm experts and happen to know some matters within the all heavens and myriad realms. Remember one thing. Always maintain the most basic respect for the all heavens and myriad realms and what lies beyond them. Do not be a frog at the bottom of a well who mocks others. What level of expert is this exactly? How could there be such a terrifying existence in the all heavens and myriad realms? Could it be an expert above the Tao Venerable? No, those above the Tao Venerable are not this powerful. It is impossible to be this powerful. Even if those above the Tao Venerable surpass us in strength, they could not be this terrifying. This is an existence that surpasses those above the Tao Venerable, and even further beyond that. So there is still a path above the Tao Venerable. Not only is there a path, but it is a very long one. The path for us seekers of the Tao has not yet been cut off. We experts in this major thousand world of Tao seekers are truly frogs at the bottom of a well. Clearly, there are so many paths above the Tao Venerable. We just have not found them. Yet we believed the Tao Venerable realm was already the strongest realm in the all heavens and myriad realms. We even named this Tao Venerable realm the end of the road level, calling ourselves end of the road level experts. It truly makes one's teeth fall out from laughter. It seems that the dimming of this fate line is the influence of the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor's intent to destroy all the treasures of his race. Just like now, when the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor retracts his idea of destroying the heaven and earth treasures. The dimming of the race's fate line immediately vanishes, becoming brighter than ever before. How is this possible? How could a race's fate line change because of my thoughts? And it changes specifically when I intend to destroy the treasures. I understand now. This is a conspiracy of the human race. The human race must have some unknown method to control the fate lines of all races in the all heavens and myriad realms. The other side knew about the birth of that human expert long ago. Therefore, they were worried that after the human expert was born and began slaying all the races in the all heavens and myriad realms, those races would fall into complete despair and destroy their treasures. That's why they created such a thing, to let the experts of all races in the all heavens and myriad realms know that what they see might not necessarily be true. Things are not necessarily truly hopeless. Destroying treasures might even lead to bad things happening. To prevent us, the various races of the all heavens, from making up our minds to destroy the treasures, giving the human race a chance to obtain these treasures intact, to get all the treasures of the entire all heavens and myriad realms. Heh, human race, after fighting you for so many years, I've long since seen through you. I've seen through you completely. Do you think I would fall for such a trick? Laughable, it's truly too laughable. A cold sneer appeared on the face of the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor. Then, he resolutely headed into the treasury, without a single hint of hesitation. Human race. Still within that human emperor hall, at this moment, the human emperor of the human race was watching number 8 Chu He through endless time and space. He furrowed his brows tightly. A flash of fear crossed his eyes. This was fear of the strong, even though it was tiny and fleeting. If a normal person wasn't paying attention, they wouldn't be able to see it clearly. How is this possible? How could such a terrifying existence be born within the all heavens and myriad realms? This terrifying aura, His strength exceeds mine by more than dozens of times. The opponent's strength exceeds those of the same level by more than 20,000 times. This is simply unbelievable. The strongest experts in other supreme races only have strength about 180 times their level. Even the experts within my human race, including myself, only reached our level because of that treasure involving the transcendence level. Our strength can directly increase to more than 3 times that of other races. That's how we broke through to over 500 times the same level. But being able to reach over 500 times the same level is already a remarkable achievement. I originally thought I was invincible. As it turns out, there is someone even more valiant, actually possessing over 20,000 times the strength of the same level. Does he think his realm is still that of a half-step chaos great Tao controller? Whose subordinate is this, to be so valiant? The human emperor of the human race was truly shocked. Only upon reaching the realm of Hengmeng Dao Ancestor does one know how difficult it is to increase combat power by even 1-fold at this stage. Just how difficult it is. The human emperor was able to reach over 500 times the same level by using a trick. If he were to cultivate by himself, it would have been impossible for him to reach this level. For instance, after becoming the #1 expert in the all heavens and myriad realms, he cultivated for hundreds of billions of Hengmeng eras. His strength only increased by 1-fold of a Hengmeng Dao ancestor's combat power. This increase is practically the same as no increase at all. Fortunately, what made the human emperor feel a bit relieved was, this time, you did not take long to achieve your breakthrough. It only took a few days for you to succeed. Above the endless void realm, within the endless chaos spacetime, #8 Chu, he opened his eyes, feeling the inexhaustible power within his body, a power that could destroy countless trillions of chaos spacetimes with a casual grasp. That power could communicate with the minor Tao of imprint of the entire all heavens and myriad realms, borrowing the authority of the Hengmeng Dao ancestor belonging to all the realms. Your heart was filled with excitement, filled with agitation. I have finally succeeded in my breakthrough. This old ancestor has finally attained the realm of Hengmeng Dao ancestor. This old ancestor is finally invincible throughout the all heavens and myriad realms. 8 simulations, 7 deaths, ultimately exchanged for a lifetime of invincibility. In this lifetime of invincibility, I shall establish the all heavens and myriad realms' great love alliance, so that everyone in the realms may possess great love. I will bring a complete end to the chaotic racial wars of the all heavens and myriad realms and bring peace. Only in this way can I live up to my own deaths in the previous 7 simulations. I believe if they knew everything I was doing, they would also be very happy. You could not help but think this in your heart. They would be pissed off. They would feel that after working so hard for so long and risking their lives so many times, the strength and cultivation they earned were meant to make the Chu family stand at the peak of the heavens, to make the human race the sole race of the all heavens and myriad realms. Instead, all those efforts were thrown to the dogs by you to create some motherfucking great love alliance. It can only be said that there is something wrong with your train of thought. You clearly know what your past selves in the previous simulations were thinking. However, with your flawed logic, you do not think that way. Thinking that your grand plan and grand dream were about to be realized, your heart became even more excited and agitated. You could not wait to announce this good news to all the races of the all heavens and myriad realms. Without any hesitation, you returned directly to the Chu family and took away all the descendants of the Chu family. You prepared to take them to the center of the all heavens and myriad realms. Furthermore, you plan to have everyone from the Chu family join the Great Love Alliance, become the rulers and pillars of the Great Love Alliance. The Great Love Alliance you founded is an organization that accommodates countless races from the all heavens and myriad realms. Within this organization, all races are equal. Among the people within this organization, no one can be an official, and no one can hold power. Because if someone is an official or holds power, it represents the beginning of imbalance. Where there is imbalance, there is no more great love. If people from these races hold power, it means they can bend the law for personal gain and provide benefits to the races behind them. And where would the benefits for those races come from? They could only be exploited from other races that have no one in power. Exploitation is oppression. This is not the great love alliance you want to create. This is not what you want to see. Therefore, in the great love alliance, people from other races are not allowed to be officials, and no one is allowed to hold power. This includes the human race as well. Everyone is in an equal relationship. At least they must appear equal on the surface. But for such a large organization to have no officials and no rulers is an unreasonable phenomenon. Even if you use your absolute strength alone to suppress the entire alliance and the entire all heavens and myriad realms, it will still cause problems for this alliance. Great powerhouse, I think the great love alliance you mentioned is a particularly wonderful idea. Our human race has long been unable to bear seeing the various races of the all heavens and myriad realms fighting amongst themselves. In fact, we also have great love in our hearts. It was wrong of our human race to exterminate so many races before, but we actually had our own difficulties. We actually didn't want to do that. The human emperor had a sincere expression. Don't ask what the difficulties were. If you ask, they just had them. At this moment, just as the human emperor and the human ancestor both came to understand, Chu He and Chu He, your two favorite descendants, saw your arrival as the old ancestor. Their eyes were filled with joy. Without any hesitation, they immediately came before you and spoke. Congratulations, old ancestor, on your breakthrough to the Hungmengdao ancestor realm. From now on, you are invincible throughout the all heavens and myriad realms. Both Chu He and Chu He were extremely happy now, because their old ancestor had achieved a breakthrough to the Hungmengdao ancestor realm. Furthermore, the old ancestor's combat power at the quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm was already terrifyingly peerless. Just as they expected, once he made the breakthrough, he became completely and utterly invincible across the all heavens and myriad realms. Throughout the countless Hungmeng eras of the all heavens and myriad realms, there had only ever been a total of 1 billion Hungmeng Dao ancestors. Among so many Hungmeng Dao ancestors, the strongest only had 500 times the power of the same level, but their old ancestor had 25,000 times the combat power of the same level upon his breakthrough. This was their old ancestor. The Chu family old ancestor, Chu He. Chu He, Chu He, you two have done very well. My ability to achieve a breakthrough to the Hungmengdao ancestor realm is partly thanks to you. Once I establish the Great Love Alliance, the two of you will come and serve as vice alliance leaders. Help Chu Kingshan manage the peace of all races in the all heavens and myriad realms Stojther. Consider this my reward to you both. Seeing Chu He and Chu He, you spoke very happily. Thank you, old ancestor. In the future, we will certainly do our best to help the old ancestor manage the Great Love Alliance, so that everyone in the all heavens and myriad realms possesses great love. Chu He and Chu He nodded, although they didn't actually agree with your Great Love Alliance philosophy. Since you were the one who told them to do it, they wouldn't object and would firmly carry out your vision. However, they were also human. They had stayed within the human race for so long, and the human race had treated them very well. They remembered this. Since the human race treated them so well, they would naturally reciprocate. They weren't ungrateful wolves either. Since you made them vice alliance leaders, they would naturally exercise the privileges of that position. As the saying goes, it is easier to get things done when one has people in high places. In this way, although the human race lost its supreme status, with 2 vice alliance leaders, Chu He and Chu He, helping them. In a sense, the status of the human race hadn't dropped much and might even be a little higher. Because within the Great Love Alliance, even other supreme races were equal to third-rate races. But while those races were truly equal, the human race still had these 2 vice alliance leaders behind them. After all the Hengmeng Dao ancestors arrived at the human race ancestral land, even the most arrogant supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor wasn't overly arrogant at this moment. Because he lacked the capital to be arrogant. Even if he wasn't afraid of death, he didn't dare to be arrogant now. Because you could make his life worse than death. As mentioned before, death itself isn't truly terrifying. What's terrifying is being unable to die even if you want to. What's terrifying is a life worse than death. This is the most terrifying thing. The supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor didn't want to experience the feeling of a life worse than death before he died. Fellow Taoists of the Hengmeng Dao ancestor rank, allow me to introduce this old ancestor. My name is Chu He, and I call myself Wuji Dao ancestor. I just achieved the Hengmeng Dao ancestor ran not long ago. The commotion from my breakthrough, all of you present should have felt it. All fellow Taoists should also be able to perceive the strength this old ancestor possesses at this very moment. That's right, this old ancestor possesses 25,000 times the power of those at the same rank as you. This strength might exceed your comprehension, but this old ancestor is just that awesome. If anyone still doesn't believe it, you can come and try. However, the price you'll have to pay for trying will also be your responsibility. As for what that price is, I won't elaborate. This time, this old ancestor called you here to inform you of something, the establishment of the Great Love Alliance. This old ancestor is someone with great love in his heart. I truly cannot bear to see you races constantly warring throughout the all heavens and myriad realms, and I cannot bear to see those who suffer, so I decided to establish the Great Love Alliance. From today onwards, all of you must join this alliance. Everyone's status among each other is equal. Everyone is a member of this alliance. The tenet of our alliance is that everyone should have great love. Powerful races cannot rely on their strength to oppress weaker races. Once discovered by me, this old ancestor will severely punish them. This includes the human race. Standing above the human race's void realm, looking at these billion ants you could easily crush, you didn't crush them all like those self-important powerhouses. Instead, you truly acted like someone with great love, explaining the philosophy of your Great Love Alliance to them. You wanted them to recognize your philosophy and genuinely respect it. The human race is also a member of this alliance. They have no special privileges, and they cannot rely on their strength to oppress you, not even the weakest third-rate race among you. In my view, there are no ranks between races. Such ranks are unreasonable. All life is equal. Therefore, the human race cannot be an exception, even though this old ancestor is also a member of the human race. If any of you are oppressed by the human race, feel free to tell me, and this old ancestor will uphold justice for you. Of course, it's also unreasonable for everyone in such a large organization to be a member, but to maintain the great love of this organization, I cannot allow powerful races to become its administrators. Therefore, this old ancestor has also decided. There was certainly more than one person who went to the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor to demand an explanation. A conservative estimate would be at least several 100 million Hengmeng Dao ancestors, and among them, those whose strength was not inferior to the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor were definitely not a small number. Moreover, even if we take 10,000 steps back and assume there weren't that many people or that many powerhouses, Demon I Hengmeng Dao ancestor wouldn't be afraid either. His strength is more than 20 times that of others at the same level. Only a powerhouse who has surpassed the Hengmeng Dao ancestors of the same level by more than 200 times could kill him. Only then would they be qualified to break eternal proof. The supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor's strength is only about 170 times the same level. The opponent's strength is not enough, and he is not worthy of killing him. Besides, you, who were just mentioned by them as being in the Great Love Alliance, aren't just there for show. If things reached a critical point, even if just for appearances, you would step in to stop it. At the same time, just as demon I Hung Meng Dao ancestor was heading to the ancestral land of the supreme origin heavenly demon clan. It was exactly as he had expected. All the races in the all heavens and myriad realms who had just returned to their ancestral lands thought of everything they had done not long ago. They thought of that bastard, the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor. They also immediately headed to the supreme origin heavenly demon ancestral land, preparing to demand an explanation and, at the very least, compensation. They wanted to make up for their losses. Even the Hung Meng Dao ancestors of third-rate races went to the supreme origin heavenly demon ancestral land. With you to back them up, they were no longer afraid. Besides, what the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor did was too much. He had completely squandered all their treasures and foundations. Even an ancient peasant, if all his money and food were squandered, no matter how much awe he felt for the landlords or even the emperor, he would rebel directly. Not to mention so many treasures. What the human race did wasn't even as ruthless as what the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor did. But while heading to the supreme origin heavenly demon ancestral land, none of these Hung Meng Dao ancestors thought about how, when they first received the reminder from the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor, they were still thanking him in their hearts. Thanking him for reminding them in time. Allowing them time to destroy their own treasures. At that time, every single one of them was incredibly happy. They didn't feel the slightest heartache over destroying these treasures. It can only be said that they were being their own worst enemies. Of course, this isn't victim blaming. The reason all the races in the all heavens and myriad realms suffered such huge losses this time is that all three parties had their own issues. The human race also had its own issues. If they hadn't squeezed the various races of the all heavens and myriad realms so hard and put so much psychological pressure on them, the races of the all heavens and myriad realms wouldn't have been so terrified without even knowing what was happening, simply because the human race had powerhouses, eagerly destroying their own treasures. If not for the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor, these races in the all heavens and myriad realms wouldn't have acted so quickly, nor would they have been awakened. If they hadn't wanted to retaliate against the human race, these races of the all heavens and myriad realms wouldn't have tried to leave the human race with nothing even on the brink of death. Simulator, what you're saying is a bit incorrect. What problems could the human race possibly have? The human race did nothing wrong. The entire all heavens and myriad realms belong to my human race. Those treasures obtained by other races from the all heavens and myriad realms are also my human races. My great human race has not forced all these races of the all heavens and myriad realms to hand over all their treasures, nor have we charged them with the crime of theft. That is already giving them a lot of face. After all, the all heavens and myriad realms belong to the human race, and the places where they live also belong to the human race. This is equivalent to guests staying in a host's home and then stealing things from that host. The fact that this host didn't kill them already shows the host's conscience. Now, the human race is merely asking these races to hand over a small portion of their gains. Is there any problem with that? Is there anything wrong? There's nothing wrong at all. What's wrong are these races of the all heavens and myriad realms. The human race treats them so well, yet they don't immediately hand over all their treasures and obediently admit their mistakes and apologize. Instead, they frantically insult the human race in secret and want to resist the human race. That is what is truly excessive. Chu He believed the human race was in the right. He truly believed in his heart that the human race had done nothing wrong and that there was no issue. He truly believed in his heart that the all heavens and myriad realms were his, and they were the human races. He truly believed in his heart that it was the fault of all the races in the all heavens and myriad realms. Furthermore, he believed his values were perfectly fine. If there was a problem, then the problem definitely lay with others, definitely with this world, definitely with these all heavens and myriad realms. He never engaged in self-recrimination. If nothing else, this spirit of not consuming oneself with guilt was very much worth learning from. Regardless of whether there was a mistake or whether it was his own fault, the fault always belonged to others. It must be that others did something wrong. What he did was 100% correct. Within the ancestral grounds of the supreme origin celestial demon clan. At this very moment, many powerful experts of the Hengmeng Dao ancestor realm from the supreme origin celestial demon clan were staging a palace coup. There was no need for the Hengmeng Dao ancestors of other races in the all heavens and myriad realms to act. The many Hengmeng Dao ancestor realm experts of their own supreme origin celestial demon clan would take action. Even if the one they had to deal with was the strongest person in their race. The creator of their race. The source of all their bloodlines, the old ancestor and progenitor of them all. They truly could not endure it any longer. They had to force the abdication. Within the entire supreme origin celestial demon clan, there were untold billions of Hengmeng Dao ancestor-level heaven and earth treasures, and their entire race had millions of Hengmeng Dao ancestor realm experts. And countless cultivators at the quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm. They had spent an unknown amount of time, hundreds of billions of Hengmeng eras, to accumulate these treasures bit by bit. And now they were all gone. Not only were these things gone, but they couldn't even find an enemy to take revenge on, because it was their own progenitor who had acted. At the time, most of them had even supported it. Furthermore, their own progenitor had made all the other supreme races, and all the races of the all heavens and myriad realms, destroy the treasures within their own races. They had already received the news. The various races of the all heavens and myriad realms were on their way here, and the other supreme races were coming as well. In one fell swoop, they had offended every single Hengmeng Dao ancestor in the all heavens and myriad realms, except for those of the human race. No, there was no need to exclude the human race. The human race was also among those they had provoked. They had offended every Hengmeng Dao ancestor in the all heavens and myriad realms. Don't forget, the reason these races destroyed the treasures of the all heavens and myriad realms was to make a laughingstock of the human race. They didn't want to see the human race obtain so many treasures and grow stronger after wiping out their races. Is this not offending the human race, and offending them blatantly at that? As a result, the human race didn't become a laughingstock, but all the races of the all heavens and myriad realms did. Their supreme origin celestial demon clan had become the biggest laughingstock. The progenitor of the supreme origin celestial demon clan had become the laughingstock among laughingstocks. It was all a joke. Given all these circumstances, they truly had no choice but to force an abdication. They no longer wanted this progenitor. Although in the past ages, the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor had indeed brought great achievements to the entire supreme origin celestial demon clan. Even the birth of the entire race was his greatest achievement. But this latest move directly wiped out all the merits of the supreme origin progenitor, resetting them to zero. If they could, those clansmen of the supreme origin celestial demon clan at the quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm would all want to take action to destroy this progenitor. Unfortunately, they didn't have the ability. The entire supreme origin celestial demon clan was created by him, and he held powerful control over the entire race, except for the Hengmeng Dao ancestor realm experts who had already broken free from the shackles of bloodline. For all other heavenly demons below the Hengmeng Dao ancestor realm, their very lifeblood was held in the hands of the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor. Progenitor, this is the last time we will call you progenitor. Please leave the heavenly demon clan. Go anywhere you like, even if you create another earth demon race, or create a black demon race or blood demon race, it's no problem. We won't have any objections. If you leave our heavenly demon clan voluntarily now, we can still leave you a bit of face. But if you are stubborn, we can also make sure you lose all face. Please do not make things difficult for us. It's not that we truly want to force you out, but our supreme origin celestial demon clan truly can no longer accommodate you. We cannot accommodate a great Buddha like you, a genius like you. After you leave, those who come to our clan looking for you might show some leniency to our supreme origin celestial demon clan once they know you've already departed. But if you don't leave, and we truly go to war with all the races, the ones who will ultimately be finished will definitely be us. Don't forget that existence from not long ago. He truly has the strength to wipe us out, and he truly does not want to see the all heavens and myriad realms fall into war again. If we really fall into war, that person will definitely deal with us as negative factors. At that time, our supreme origin celestial demon clan will be completely finished. The second and third strongest members of the supreme origin celestial demon clan were also existences at the Hengmeng Dao ancestor realm with strength over 150 times that of the same level, erupting with terrifying aura from their entire bodies. They looked coldly at the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor before them and spoke. Looking at the individuals before him, each one a descendant of his own bloodline whom he had personally created. Every single one of them had betrayed him. They were forcing him to leave the race he had created, driving him away to some other place. The supreme origin celestial demon clan no longer welcomed him. The supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor's eyes turned blood red. He had lived for such a long time, yet he had never imagined such a situation would occur in his future. He never thought the race he created in the past would one day drive him away. That they would be such ungrateful wide-eyed wolves. He was almost dying of rage. You all, fine. Every one of you wants to drive me away, is that it? Do not forget that the reason you exist, the reason you were even born, is because I created you. It is because of me. I am your progenitor. My blood still flows through your bodies. Do not forget that. And yet now, every single one of you is being so ungrateful. I was truly fucking blind to have created you back then. Pointing his finger at all the members of the supreme origin celestial demon clan before him, the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor's heart felt deathly cold. He wished he could immediately perish together with these people, to self-detonate right now and kill all these wide-eyed wolves. To kill them all. If nothing else, he wanted to kill every Hengmeng Dao ancestor whose strength was less than 20 times that of their level. Only then could he vent the hatred in his heart. Otherwise, he truly couldn't swallow this anger. If he left like this, he feared he would die of rage on the way. He would never be at peace for the rest of his life. What a humiliating disgrace. But he couldn't. The people present would not let him do so, and if he did, then it went without saying that you, who just recently achieved a breakthrough, would definitely take action. You had just said everyone should coexist peacefully. If the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor turned around and attacked his own race, that would be slapping you in the face. If he slapped the face of an existence so much more powerful than himself, could he still survive? The supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor saw this point clearly. You truly had the ability to kill him. The supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor wasn't afraid of death. He wasn't afraid of it at all. He had lived for so long. He had long since lived enough. He had enjoyed everything there was to enjoy, played everything there was to play, and seen everything there was to see. He had nothing left to miss in these all heavens and myriad realms. so he wasn't afraid of death. But that was before. Now he was afraid of death. He was afraid his death would be too easy, allowing the people before him to enjoy themselves. The supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor felt that since he hadn't sought revenge on these ungrateful people yet, how could he die? If he died so easily, he shouldn't be called the heavenly demon progenitor, and he shouldn't have the word demon in his title. It would be a joke. If the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor's guess was correct, the reason these people were treating him like this, aside from the fact that he had indeed brought great losses to the supreme origin celestial demon clan and invited great trouble, was that they wanted to provoke him, to goad the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor into attacking. These people couldn't kill him themselves, but they had offended him to the point of no return. They certainly couldn't let this venomous snake continue to live, fearing he would bite them at any moment. Therefore, they had to take the chance while they could suppress him to immediately use all their strength to kill him. Even if he was their progenitor, they wouldn't show any mercy. And once he attacked, these people would definitely escalate the matter, eventually drawing in that human race primordial chaos Tao ancestor. Isn't this what we learned from you, progenitor? Who are we? We are heavenly demons. We are demons. Do you know what a demon is? We have no conscience, so our conscience truly won't hurt. Being ungrateful and betraying benefactors, isn't that our most basic conduct? Isn't that something etched into our legacy memories? None of us are good people. We are ungrateful, wide-eyed wolves, just like you're such a damn good person yourself. Don't forget how you originally became a Hung Meng Dao ancestor. You also betrayed your benefactor and stole their treasures to finally achieve the Hung Meng Dao ancestor realm. What's the difference between you and us? How are you any better? We call you progenitor because you can bring us benefits. Don't you fucking start actually thinking of yourself as the progenitor. That really makes you look like a clown. The second, third, and fourth strongest members of the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon Clan glanced at each other, wild laughter appearing on their faces. They truly hadn't expected the progenitor of the demonic path of the all heavens and myriad realms, the progenitor of the heavenly demon clan, to be such a naive person. Ungrateful, white-eyed wolves. Within their heavenly demon clan, these weren't negative terms. Isn't that praising us? One could only say that he was indeed the progenitor, even after suffering such betrayal from them. He still deeply loved their supreme origin celestial demon clan, giving them a word of praise before leaving. Sigh, if the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor hadn't had a lapse in judgment and caused things to turn out like this, they really wouldn't have wanted to drive him out. But there was no choice. The man's brain was sick. Seeing that even after such provocation, the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor did not attack, they knew he had seen through their tricks and could no longer be schemed against. The other experts of the supreme origin celestial demon clan present didn't intend to say anything more. They continued to erupt with their aura. They planned to drive him out before the experts of the all heavens and myriad realms arrived. In any case, it was impossible for them to take the blame for the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor this time. Don't even think about it. The legacy memories of their supreme origin celestial demon clan didn't teach them to do that at all. What they were taught was how to be ungrateful. Their behavior was exactly what the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor had taught them. This wave of backstabbing can be considered as paying tuition for the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor. Telling the other party that when looking at people, one must look accurately. Don't just create anything. Being a demon is not that easy. When you backstab others, you have to think about whether you will be backstabbed by others in the future. When you are replicating, you also have to think about whether others will be ungrateful in the future. If those few people were to say it, this supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor also deserved to be backstabbed. This is also what he deserves. When others create a race, they all work hard to teach that race how to be grateful, teaching them that a drop of kindness should be repaid with a gushing spring, making them a race that respects and is loyal to them. But this supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor is like a retard, teaching others to be ungrateful and to backstab. Isn't this just being a retard? The fact that the supreme origin heavenly demon ancestor has today's result is also his own fault. This point is not wrong. It was my fault. I really shouldn't have created you all in the beginning. I'm sick, I'm a retard, I'm an idiot. Fine, this time I was taught a lesson by you all, given a lecture by you all. I admit it. I accept my defeat. Nodding his head and forcibly suppressing the surging anger in his heart, the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor pretended to be calm. Without any hesitation, with a single thought, the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor traversed the all-heavens void and disappeared from the clan grounds of the supreme origin celestial demon clan. He had already made up his mind. He wanted to create another race. Since he could create the first supreme race, then he could create a second supreme race. He wanted to create the supreme earth demon clan. He wanted to become the supreme earth demon progenitor. To counter the incredibly powerful supreme heavenly demon clan that he had personally nurtured, he must have enough experts in the Hengmeng Dao ancestor realm. Otherwise, it would be impossible to succeed by himself alone. As long as he was given tens of billions of Hengmeng eras, he would return with the supreme earth demon clan. When he returns, he really wants to see what kind of expressions these people who betrayed him will have. Of course, this time the supreme earth demon progenitor felt that teaching these descendants, he created how to be ungrateful and how to backstab people, was no longer necessary. The taste of being betrayed by others is not pleasant. Being betrayed once was enough. It had already given the supreme origin earth demon progenitor more than enough experience. He didn't want to experience the feeling of being betrayed by others a second time. If he were to be betrayed again this time, the supreme origin earth demon progenitor would really explode. He would really be unable to stop himself from self-destructing along with these two races. Even if it meant death, he wouldn't hesitate. He wanted to teach the supreme origin earth demon what loyalty meant. What loyalty meant. Make them only loyal to him, 100% unlikely to betray him, just like that Chu family. That Chu He, the Hengmeng Dao ancestor, was his future role model. He was the idol of the supreme origin earth demon progenitor. When investigating the future leader of the Great Love Alliance and the character of the people in the Chu family earlier, the supreme origin earth demon progenitor also learned what kind of terrifying control you, this Wuji Hengmeng Dao ancestor, had over your own descendants. Just how loyal those descendants were to you. That was truly 100% loyalty. If those Chu family members were told to die, many would respond. Compared to the supreme heavenly demon clan that had already betrayed him, there was simply no comparison at all. The gap was too large. At least if you, this Wuji Hengmeng Dao ancestor, destroyed all the heaven and earth treasures in your family, no one in the Chu family would think their old ancestor had made a mistake. They would only think that these treasures were obtained by the old ancestor, and these things originally belonged to the old ancestor, since they were the old ancestor's things. Then, what was the problem with the old ancestor destroying them? There is no problem with destroying one's own things. No one can find fault with it. But there was a problem here with the supreme heavenly demon clan. They would betray him all at once. This is the difference. Previously, the supreme origin earth demon progenitor didn't care about things like loyalty. He was even very dismissive of it. The loyalty of the weak is useless. In the conception of the supreme origin earth demon progenitor, as long as he remained the strongest one, no one would dare to betray him. It was enough for him to remain the strongest. But now, the supreme origin earth demon progenitor only wanted to study frame by frame. He, the supreme origin Earth demon progenitor, really wanted to make progress. Regarding the various thoughts of the supreme origin Earth demon progenitor and his various encounters. On the other side, you, who are still in the human race ancestral land, naturally noticed it immediately. Upon learning of the envy others felt toward the loyalty of your Chu family disciples, a smile curled upon your lips. It's only right to be envious. These are your descendants, and their loyalty is absolutely rock solid. There are few in the all heavens and myriad realms who can compare. Setting everything else aside, are cases of people turning against each other over a few cultivation resources, rare in the all heavens and myriad realms. Imagine two experts at the quasi-grandmist Tao ancestor realm, even if these two were previously best friends or brothers who would die for each other. Suddenly, a heaven and earth treasure at the level of a Hung Meng Tao ancestor appears before them. There is only one, and it cannot be divided. Ask yourself, would they start fighting? Would they engage in a life-and-death struggle? They absolutely would. While a small minority might not, over 99% of people would do exactly that. For someone who has never used a Hung Meng Tao ancestor-level heaven and earth treasure, using one would be of immense help in reaching the Hung Meng Tao ancestor realm later on. At the very least, increasing one's comprehension ability by several dozen times is no problem at all. And with a comprehension ability increased by dozens of times, the speed at which one perfects their own minor Tao would increase by hundreds or even thousands of times. A thousand-fold increase in breakthrough speed. Just one question. Who could possibly resist that? No one can resist, yet your two descendants, and the two from the previous simulation, Chu He, Chu Yeawei, Chu Yunshan, and Chu Zunshan, these four people. They resisted it. Not only did they resist the temptation of a single Hung Meng Tao ancestor-level heaven and earth treasure, they resisted the temptation of tens of thousands of Hung Meng Tao ancestor-level heaven and earth treasures. And they gave all those things to you. Such loyalty needs no further explanation. Loyalty alone is enough. Because Chu He and Chu Yeawei were so loyal to you, their old ancestor, they have now received their due rewards after you became invincible. They have become the most powerful people in the all heavens and myriad realms. Although you founded the Great Love Alliances simply because you wanted everyone in the all heavens and myriad realms to have great love, you have no interest in managing the organization yourself. The ones truly managing it are these two descendants, along with your son Chu Zhangxian and your grandson Chu Qingshan. The four of them are the true managers. You feel at ease leaving the all heavens and myriad realms and the Great Love Alliance to be managed by these four. You trust their character implicitly. Beyond that, they understand you. As long as the all heavens and myriad realms are in their hands, you believe it won't be long before everyone has great love and peace is everywhere. There will be no more wars. Everyone will be happy. This is your trust in your descendants. Of course, even if the all heavens and myriad realms don't end up with everyone having great love, and instead revert to the previous state of rampant looting and frantic corruption, it wouldn't be a big deal. A temporary mistake is not a permanent failure. That would just be your descendants having a momentary lapse in judgment. It wouldn't be their fault. It would be because your family was too poor before. Suddenly gaining control over the all heavens and myriad realms and seeing the treasuries of so many races laid out before them, it's only natural they'd want to take some money. It's like a poor person suddenly gaining the power to make money. What poor person wouldn't take the opportunity? So, it's not a problem with your descendants. It's a result of having been too poor. Once they've taken enough, and you continue to leave the all heavens and myriad realms and the Great Love Alliance in their hands, they will naturally stop, and the realms will find peace. You have to give young people a chance to make mistakes and correct them. You can't write them off just because they made a little mistake once. As the saying goes, once is okay, twice is fine, but not a third time. Wait until a third time happens to say anything. If it really happens a third time, then pretend you never said that. However, such things are unlikely to happen for now, because the treasuries of all the races in the all heavens and myriad realms have been emptied. Even the treasury buildings themselves are gone. Because the materials used to build those treasuries were actually heaven and earth treasures and decent items in their own right. Since they were treasures, there was no way they were going to be left for the human race. So the current situation is that the Chu family at least has its own treasury and its own treasures. But the various races of the all heavens and myriad realms, excluding the human race, are all dirt poor now. They are even poorer than the Chu family used to be. Some members of the Chu family can still produce a few Hengmeng Dao ancestor-level heaven and earth treasures. These were given to the family members by Chu Yeahui and Chu Yeawei after you no longer needed them. But for those other races in the all heavens and myriad realms, you couldn't find a single one if you tried. They were too thorough in their own destruction. Since everyone else is even poorer than they are, the members of the Chu family naturally have no desire to continue exploiting them or taking their money. Looking at their empty pockets, if it weren't for the fact that these people destroyed their heaven and earth treasures just to keep the human race from getting them, perhaps some compassionate members of the Chu family would have pitied them and left them a few treasures. Even a rat would leave those places in tears. A thief breaking in would probably end up leaving some spare change behind. It will likely take several billion Hengmeng eras for these people in the all heavens and myriad realms to accumulate some wealth again. Only then will it be time for the Chu family to take action. Although I hate your attitude toward the races of the all heavens and myriad realms, and I hate the great love alliance you founded, I really like the level of care you show for your descendants and your own bloodline. Seeing his heart's capacity to repeatedly tolerate his descendants in the simulation, Chu He expressed great satisfaction. So what if they made a small mistake? Isn't an apology enough? No, this can't even be called a mistake. Embezzling treasures from the races of the all heavens and myriad realms and bullying them, how can such things be called errors? Why apologize for such things? They should be rewarded. Greatly rewarded. After the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor left, the powerhouses of all the races in the all heavens and myriad realms arrived at the ancestral land of the supreme heavenly demon clan. Billions of Hengmeng Dao ancestors. They all came to pressure the supreme heavenly demon clan, demanding they hand over the supreme heavenly demon progenitor. But upon learning that the supreme heavenly demon progenitor had actually been driven out by the very race he created, becoming like a rat crossing the street, the powerhouses of the various races in the all heavens and myriad realms momentarily felt a bit of pity for the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor. To be driven out by the race one personally founded, this made those four people feel uneasy, and they found him pitiable. However, this pity was only fleeting. It quickly turned back into cold killing intent. Even though he had been driven out, it still couldn't quell the anger in the hearts of the races of the all heavens and myriad realms. He was only driven out, he wasn't dead. And what these races lost were all their treasures. They were sent back to square one overnight. Since the supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor had fled, they could only turn their gaze toward the supreme heavenly demon clan itself. Someone had to pay the price. Otherwise, their hearts would remain stifled, with no outlet for their rage. They couldn't go looking for trouble with the lone supreme origin heavenly demon progenitor. First, they couldn't find him. His strength exceeded his peers by hundreds of times. If he truly wanted to hide, even if they scoured the entire all heavens and myriad realms, they wouldn't find him unless he came out on his own. Alternatively, unless a powerhouse 10 times stronger than him went looking for him, it was impossible to find a Hengmeng Dao ancestor who truly intended to hide. Second, now that he was all alone, what price could they possibly make him pay? Could they kill him? They couldn't, it was impossible. Since they couldn't kill him, and he had no treasures, he might have destroyed everything even more thoroughly than they could. With his strength being so great, and him being all alone, he had gone from having something to lose to having nothing to lose. Seeking him out wouldn't yield anything. They would only find a powerhouse with intense malice toward them. In that case, it was better to target the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon Clan. Although the collective strength of the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon Clan was greater than that of the Supreme Origin Heavenly Demon Progenitor alone. After all, comparing a whole race to a single powerhouse, the race would certainly be stronger. While the Supreme Origin Heavenly Demon Progenitor's strength exceeded his peers by over 170 times, the second, third, and fourth strongest members of the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon Clan were already around 150 times stronger than their peers. They weren't far behind. This was also why they were confident in driving out the Supreme Origin Heavenly Demon Progenitor. They weren't afraid that losing their top combatant would lead to a reckoning from other races. Their status wouldn't change. There wasn't much difference between being 150 times stronger and 170 times stronger than one's peers, unless a powerhouse like you suddenly appeared and could kill them. The human emperor still couldn't kill them, and the other supreme race couldn't kill them either. After driving out their progenitor, the many powerhouses of the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon Clan had somewhat anticipated that these other powerhouses wouldn't go after him, but would instead continue to threaten their clan. In fact, it was somewhat expected. Of course, it was one thing to expect it, but when it actually happened, the faces of the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon Clan's powerhouses still looked very grim. The other supreme race were one thing, but those first-rate, second-rate, and even third-rate races actually dared to act against them. This was showing far too little respect for a supreme race. Even the other 6 supreme race, pressuring the Supreme Heavenly Demon Clan, looked at those first, second, and third-rate races with eyes full of dissatisfaction. These supreme race also had their dignity to maintain. No matter how many wrongs the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon Clan had committed, it was still an internal matter among the supreme race. What were these first-rate, second-rate, and third-rate races doing meddling here? Are they even worthy? The likes of them, they should look at their own strength first. What status do they think they have, actually following suit to pressure the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon Clan together with them? If these third-rate and second-rate races get a taste of sweetness and feel that these supreme race aren't so unattainable or terrifying, even while oppressing the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon Clan, seeing a once high-end mighty supreme race not daring to strike back against the experts of these ordinary races. Even if they desperately want to kill you, they don't dare to act and must even greet them with a smile. Perhaps it might even give these third-rate and second-rate races some bad ideas. Then these supreme race would truly wish they could kill off these third-rate and second-rate races. However, despite the immense dissatisfaction in the hearts of these supreme race, which was evident on their faces, they still didn't make a move. They didn't dare to act. The Supreme Origin Immortal Clan, the Supreme Origin System Clan, these supreme race didn't dare to act at this critical juncture. This timing was too sensitive. Normally, they would have killed these ordinary races long ago. In fact, they wouldn't even need to act. The Supreme Origin Celestial Demon Clan would have killed them. Even these ordinary races themselves would think they deserved to die. For the weak to pressure the strong, isn't that just seeking death? Isn't it only natural for a race to be exterminated for such a reason? If some weakling dared to provoke their race, could they refrain from wiping them out? One would know just by putting themselves in those shoes. Unfortunately, these ordinary races had someone with great love backing them up. Under the pressure of numerous ordinary races and supreme race, the many experts of the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon Clan at the Hungmeng Dao Ancestor realm ultimately did not self-detonate with them. to take them all down to hell together. As said before, if it were any other time, they would have given up on living long ago, taking everyone down with them in a desperate struggle. But now they wouldn't do that, because they couldn't even manage a mutual destruction. Someone could kill them, and they were no longer invincible. Even if they wanted to destroy the all heavens and myriad realms, they wouldn't be able to destroy many chaos spacetimes before someone came to kill them. If the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan acted now, they might be able to kill some Hengmeng Dao ancestors. But they definitely couldn't kill most of them. If they couldn't kill these people, then by the time they reacted, it would definitely be them who died. When that time came, who knows how these surviving Hengmeng Dao ancestors would step on their corpses and mock them. Seizing their chaos spacetimes, seizing their ancestral lands, seizing their wives and children, seizing their... Just thinking about it made the experts of the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan feel their scalps tingle. They were willing to risk it all. They weren't afraid of death. They had lived long enough. But they weren't willing to let these enemies live happily after they died. This was even more painful than dying. The most painful thing in the world is being alive, but having no money. The most painful thing is dying before you've spent all your money. The most painful thing in the world is not just dying with unspent money, but having your enemies live unhappily. Happy in the past, even happier now because they're dead, and continuing to be happy in the future. The Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan chose to compromise, and the price of their compromise was signing tens of millions of unequal treaties. That's right, tens of millions of unequal treaties. They signed with the experts of the Supreme Origin Immortal clan that all treasures they obtained within the all heavens and myriad realms over the next tens of billions of Hengmeng eras would all be left to the Supreme Origin Immortal clan. They signed similar treaties with other supreme race as well, giving them all the treasures of the next few hundred Hengmeng eras. One supreme race meant tens of billions of Hengmeng eras. In total, it already added up to 200 or 300 billion Hengmeng eras. 200 or 300 billion Hengmeng eras. It was too long. The entire all heavens and myriad realms had only existed for over 100 billion Hengmeng eras, yet the debt owed by the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan alone already reached 200 or 300 billion Hengmeng eras. All the treasures they obtained from then on would be used to repay the debt. They couldn't keep any for themselves, nor could they slack off. They had to work hard to find treasures. The most crucial part was that this was only the debt owed to the 6 supreme races. The other ordinary races hadn't even been counted yet. These were tens of millions of unequal treaties. Every third-rate and second-rate race took advantage of this golden opportunity, this once-in-a-lifetime chance, to frantically exploit the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan. Everyone made the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan sign a treaty for 10 times the compensation of their lost treasures. They want to reclaim everything they were squeezed of in the past from the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan, doubled, and doubled again. They want to reclaim all their past experiences of being insulted from the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan, doubled, and doubled again. For some reason, seeing this on the simulator always feels a bit unpleasant. Inside the myriad heavens Mall City Lord's mansion, Chu He frowned slightly. His mood at this moment was a bit complicated. He was very happy to see the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan meet with misfortune. After all, in the previous simulation, the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan had also stood in opposition to the human race. They were also one of the main culprits who had obstructed Chu He's breakthrough to Hengmeng Dao ancestor. They were also the first people Chu He would kill once his strength improved after this simulation ended. Logically, Chu He should have been happy, but seeing these minor races helping him get revenge, especially knowing they were doing it to retaliate for the previous oppression and humiliation by these supreme race, he didn't feel very happy. This was because Chu He projected these circumstances onto the human race. If one were to say who squeezed and bullied these minor races the most in the all heavens and myriad realms, it wasn't actually these supreme race. The most ruthless was the human race. Chu He had just put himself in the human race's shoes in such a situation, so his mood was a bit sour. Even if these people were helping him get revenge, he still felt uneasy. It can only be said that humans are indeed very complex creatures. Truly a bunch of ambitious, ungrateful wolves that can't be tamed. When they were weak, these minor races were submissive before the supreme race. But when they have a backer, these minor races aren't afraid of the supreme race anymore. They strike out with heavy blows. How could they possibly realize that if it weren't for the protection of the human race and the supreme race back then, would they even still exist? If the human race hadn't taken their treasures, the treasures each of them possessed would have far exceeded the strength they had to protect them. If the human race hadn't taken their treasures, even the most ordinary third-rate race could have thousands of heaven and earth treasures at the level of a Hungmeng Dao ancestor. Could a third-rate race possibly obtain so many treasures? If news of having so many treasures leaked out, wouldn't it be like a child carrying gold through a busy market, blatantly telling others to come and rob them? Without the strength, one shouldn't hold so many treasures. Otherwise, it's easy to be robbed, and once robbed, it's easy for the race to be exterminated. From this, it's clear that the human race taking their treasures and the heaven and earth treasures they worked hard to find wasn't actually about plundering their achievements. It wasn't a bad thing. On the contrary, the human race taking their treasures was saving them, allowing them to avoid the possibility of being killed for their treasures. This is a good thing. But this good deed, this act of saving them, often isn't recognized by the masses. Instead, they are frequently slandered. They don't stop to think. The human race took so many treasures and gathered them into one race, attracting the attention of all the powerhouses in the all heavens and myriad realms at every moment. What a massive risk that is. The human race bore such a massive risk for so many of their races, yet they don't know how to be grateful. Truly the most ungrateful of wolves. In his bad mood, Chu He began to curse these minor races of the all heavens and myriad realms again, and the more he cursed, the more spirited he became. He felt that these races in the all heavens and myriad realms were living too well, that the human race was too good to them, which is why they didn't know how to be grateful. If the human race hadn't been carrying the heavy burden in front, bearing so much pressure for these races, where would the peaceful years of these races in the all heavens and myriad realms come from? Needless to say, what the human race did in this regard has truly been worthy of all the races in the all heavens and myriad realms. As for the treasures seized from these races being used by the human race to improve their own strength and cultivate their own race's geniuses, that goes without saying. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If the human race didn't use these treasures to improve their strength, how would they have the power to deter those Hungmeng Dao ancestors who frequently kill for treasures? How would they have the power to continue protecting the many races of the all heavens and myriad realms? If there were only one or two third-rate races or second-rate races, the things they wanted the supreme origin celestial demon clan to compensate wouldn't be much. It wouldn't take the supreme origin celestial demon clan much time to easily give these items to them. However, when that number reached tens of millions, the many powerhouses of the supreme origin celestial demon clan could only watch helplessly as their debt, from the previous 200+ billion years of the Hungmeng era, turned into over 300 billion Hungmeng eras, 400+ billion Hungmeng eras, 500+ billion Hungmeng eras, 600+ billion Hungmeng eras. It finally stopped when it reached over 800 billion Hungmeng eras. A debt of over 800 billion Hungmeng eras. What a terrifying figure. This was essentially forcing every expert of the supreme origin celestial demon clan to work themselves to death. They would be working for free for every race in the all heavens and myriad realms for their entire lives. There are only about 1,000,000,000,000 Hengmeng eras in total in the all heavens and myriad realms. Over 100 billion have already passed, and if you add this 800 billion, it equals over 900 billion Hengmeng eras. With only a few 100 billion Hengmeng eras left, isn't this just working to death for everyone in the all heavens and myriad realms? These humiliating treaties made the members of the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan hate their previous ancestor to death. Even after leaving, he still brought them such massive trouble. At the same time, the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan almost couldn't resist the urge to slaughter all the Hengmeng Dao ancestors before them. They endured again and again, but these people were pushing their luck too far. Kind people are bullied, and gentle horses are ridden. It truly was a case of a tiger being bullied by dogs on a plain, or a featherless phoenix being worse than a chicken. They were even more miserable. They hadn't even reached the tiger on a plain stage yet. The clan's overall strength was still very much intact, and aside from losing one top-tier combatant, they were still at their peak. Yet, they were still being bullied by others like this. One could only say the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan was truly patient. Seeing them endure like this, the Hengmeng Dao ancestors from various races in the all heavens and myriad realms felt extremely gratified. In the past, any random Hengmeng Dao ancestor from a supreme race who visited their races would have an incredibly arrogant attitude. They practically wanted their faces to scream that they were from a supreme race, expecting other races to kneel and welcome them. They would flip through the treasures in their vaults at every turn, claiming to perform routine checks for spies. They were only slightly better than those dogs from the human race. But not by much. They were all the worst of the worst. But now the tables have turned. This year, it's finally their turn. All the Hengmeng Dao ancestors from the third-rate, second-rate, and even first-rate races in the all heavens and myriad realms offered their most sincere thanks to you, the newly born heavenly extremity Hengmeng Dao ancestor. They were very happy that such a peace-loving Hengmeng Dao ancestor had been born in the all heavens and myriad realms. And a Hengmeng Dao ancestor of the human race at that. That someone as peace-loving as you could be born from the human race's brutal genes was truly a miracle. A miracle among miracles. All the races in the all heavens and myriad realms felt that a beautiful life was beckoning them. They felt their future was incredibly bright. With a powerful being like you as their backer, they no longer had to fear those supreme races or Hengmeng Dao ancestors stronger than themselves. They no longer had to worry about being exterminated by the human race for some nonsensical reason. However, they were happy too soon. They were celebrating too early. They are happy now, but once this happiness passes, the sorrow will arrive. It wasn't just these Hengmeng Dao ancestor-level experts of the all heavens and myriad realms who would be miserable. Even weaker experts, those in the eternal Dao ancestor realm, celestial venerable realm, or even the 6th, 7th, 3rd, and 2nd-tier realms, would suffer. Their sorrow was coming as well. The Hengmeng Dao ancestors of these races, in the all heavens and myriad realms, had vastly underestimated the extent of your great love. They thought your great love was only for those experts, at or above the level of Chaos Great Dao Controller, or only for their third-rate and second-rate races. But your great love was not limited by race, nor was it limited to the weak or the strong. Your love for peace covered the entire all heavens and myriad realms. After the many experts gathered at the Supreme Origin Celestial Demon clan left, they immediately gathered again in the ancestral land of the human race. However, they weren't there to pressure the human race. They didn't have the courage for that. Even with you as their backer, they didn't dare force the human race into anything. First, they had no reason. Pressuring others for no reason would just be making trouble. Second, the shadow the human race cast over their hearts was too great. Even with such a terrifying expert behind them, they didn't dare do such a thing. Furthermore, the expert backing them was from the human race. Pressuring the human race would be like looking for death. No matter how nicely you spoke, saying you loved peace and had great love in your heart, they didn't dare believe you. They didn't believe you would choose them over the human race. They were more inclined to believe you would side with the human race. It seems these people still have some self-awareness. That's right. If they dared to coerce the human race, then they would truly be too stupid. They wouldn't be able to cultivate to this level, nor could they achieve the Hengmeng Dao ancestor realm. After all, how could someone who believes everything they hear achieve the Hengmeng Dao ancestor realm? The simulated me only told them that he possessed great love in his heart, without doing anything substantial. If, under these circumstances, they believed that they could mistreat the human race, and that the simulated me wouldn't help the human race but side with them, then their brains are truly defective. However, these people will never know that sometimes impossible things truly can happen. If they oppose the human race, as long as the human race genuinely does something wrong, and as long as the descendants of the Chu Family don't come out to stop the simulated me, the simulated me truly might become a traitor to humanity and stand on their side. Because old age is too brainless. Seeing that the powerful beings of the various races in the simulated all heavens and myriad realms did not coerce the human race the way they coerced the supreme origin celestial demon clan. Chu He's impression of the races of the all heavens and myriad realms improved slightly, just a tiny bit. When he kills these people in the future, Chu He felt he could be gentler, killing them as quickly as possible and being more lenient toward their descendants. Originally, regarding the races of the all heavens and myriad realms, after enslaving them, Chu He planned to restrict the strength of the many powerful beings in the all heavens and myriad realms, limiting their ceiling so that their maximum strength would not exceed the immortal venerable realm, preventing them from achieving a breakthrough to the eternal great Luo realm. Only the human race would be able to break through beyond the eternal great Luo. But now, Chu He felt he could raise their ceiling to the eternal great Luo level, allowing them to break through to the eternal great Luo realm, only stopping when they reach the Tao venerable realm. They would then be unable to continue their breakthrough. Although the eternal great Luo realm and the Tao venerable realm were essentially no different. At most, the combat power would be slightly stronger, but besides that, nothing else. No status or other benefits would increase. Fellow Taoists, today, the powerful beings of so many races across the all heavens and myriad realms are gathered here. To see every single one of you present, with no one absent, discussing with me how to bring peace to the all heavens and myriad realms, how to bring great love to everyone, and discussing the establishment of the Great Love Alliance. This alliance, Lord, feels extremely happy. Because what I see is that everyone possesses the awareness to bring peace and great love to the all heavens and myriad realms. If you didn't have this awareness, so many of you wouldn't have gathered. Even though I spoke up, I didn't realize that a single sentence from me held such great power. To be able to gather so many Hengmeng Dao ancestors in one place. Inside the human race ancestral land, the human Emperor Hall was temporarily moved to serve as a conference room. You stand above the human Emperor Hall, looking down at the billions of Hengmeng Dao ancestors below. Your eyes are filled with gratification. You feel that everyone in the all heavens and myriad realms, just like you, has long been weary of the contentious and dark all heavens and myriad realms, and has long desired to usher in peace. It's just that due to various chains of suspicion and the influence of certain schemers, they had no solution and could only remain in the dark mire of the all heavens and myriad realms. They could only walk this path until death. But now, because of you, you possess the ability to restrain everyone in the all heavens and myriad realms, and the ability to suppress everyone in the all heavens and myriad realms. After you took the lead, these powerful beings in the all heavens and myriad realms who had long stopped wanting conflict immediately stepped forward. Otherwise, it would be impossible for so many people to listen to you, and gather here to jointly establish the Great Love Alliance after only a few words. You subconsciously ignored your own strength. You do not believe that these people gathered here because your strength threatened their lives. Number 8, Chu He believes it is his personal charm that deeply attracted them. That's right, great heavenly extremity Hengmeng Dao ancestor. We truly wish to bring wonderful peace to the entire all heavens and myriad realms. We have long since stopped wanting to oppose other powerful beings, engage in mutual scheming and mutual attacks. What we people envision isn't much. We only want to develop peacefully and live peacefully with our clansmen. Yet, even this small wish is constantly denied to us by other powerful races. They constantly use their great strength to oppress and exploit us weaker races, forcing us to resist. We might die if we resist, but we will certainly die if we don't resist. 524. From today onwards, the Great Love Alliance is officially established. Why is it so difficult in this world to just want to develop one's own race in peace? Why are there so many races that can't stand to see us small races doing well? Clearly, those powerful races live better lives. It should be us envying them, so what is it about us that they can't stand? Hearing your words, it was as if you had voiced the inner thoughts of many small races in the all heavens and myriad realms. One person, one sentence, caused many voices to arise within the human Emperor Hall. The reality was indeed as they said. Most small races in the all heavens and myriad realms actually don't have very large ambitions. They just want to develop their own races in peace and slowly wait for the destruction of the all heavens and myriad realms. Only some people are unwilling to remain third-rate or second-rate races forever and want to turn things around with very large ambitions. But these are, after all, only a minority of races. If all races in the all heavens and myriad realms had their own ambitions and wanted to turn things around, then the all heavens and myriad realms would have long since become a chaotic mess with everyone fighting. Everyone would be forming various factions and cliques. Take a look, you first-rate races, you supreme races, take a look. These are the truest inner thoughts of most Hengmeng Dao ancestor realm experts in the all heavens and myriad realms. People just want to develop in peace, people just want peace, but you people just can't stand to see others doing well. What's wrong with developing in peace? Did they provoke you? They didn't do anything. They were minding their own business. Yet they still have to be bullied, insulted, and exploited by you. Each and every one of you is truly too dark-hearted. Look at what you've turned these small races of the all heavens and myriad realms into. Only over 100 billion Hengmeng eras have passed, and there are still over 900 billion Hengmeng eras left before this myriad heavens epic ends, and the all heavens and myriad realms are destroyed. In just over 100 billion Hengmeng eras, you've bullied people to this extent. If another 900 billion Hengmeng eras pass, what will happen? Put yourselves in their shoes. Seeing so many people agreeing with him, number 8 Chu He pointed at all the Hengmeng Dao ancestors of the weak races in front of him, and then pointed at the Hengmeng Dao ancestors of those first-rate races and even supreme races, his eyes filled with disdain. You feel that these supreme races are too dark, too evil. If it weren't for your heart of great love, you would have wanted to kill all these Hengmeng Dao ancestors of the supreme races. You certainly wouldn't let these people sit with you in the human Emperor Hall to discuss the establishment of the Great Love Alliance. Discussing great love with these people is simply an insult to great love. But there was no choice. Your personality change back then was too thorough. If it hadn't been thorough enough, you wouldn't have been able to deceive the fate lines of these races in the all heavens and myriad realms. To deceive the fate lines of these races in the all heavens and myriad realms, only a truly thorough change in the realist sense could achieve it. It couldn't be fake. But because it was too thorough, even though these people had the enmity of obstructing your path in the last simulation, and even indirectly killed you, you couldn't even feel hatred for them in your heart, and could still calmly discuss the establishment of the Great Love Alliance with them. It's not that you don't want to change your personality back and be yourself again, but when you recall the you before the personality change, you feel disgusted by that previous self. The thought of becoming such a disgusting person makes you feel mentally uncomfortable, so you don't want to change anymore. You feel that it's no longer you. If you really changed, perhaps you wouldn't even build the Great Love Alliance. You might even kill all the Hungmeng Dao ancestors in the all heavens and myriad realms except for the human race, bringing destruction to the entire all heavens and myriad realms. This is something your heart of great love absolutely would not allow. Since so many of you hate the previous all heavens and myriad realms with its various conflicts, exploitation, and darkness, then from now on, starting with me, I will lead you to end this conflict-ridden all heavens and myriad realms. From today onwards, the Great Love Alliance is officially established. This is a peace organization spanning the entire all heavens and myriad realms. Every race in the all heavens and myriad realms that possesses a Hungmeng Dao ancestor realm expert must have one Hungmeng Dao ancestor join this organization. Together with me, we shall jointly guard the peace of the entire all heavens and myriad realms. Once someone develops thoughts they shouldn't have and provocations against our Great Love Alliance, then all of us must take action immediately to resolve these unstable factors. Regarding the establishment of this alliance, is there anyone present who disagrees? I have always been very tolerant and democratic. If you disagree, you must speak up. From now on, those who agree to establish the Great Love Alliance, raise your hands. Those who disagree, simply do not raise your hands. I will absolutely not have any objections.